think good thoughts. There are more than enough studies that prove that a positive outlook makes you healthier, physically and mentally. You ever notice your negative friends seem to get sick a lot more than your positive ones? We have about 6,000 thoughts every day. A National Science Foundation article summarized that out of these thoughts for an average person, 80% are negative, 95% simply the same repetitive thoughts as the day before. Cornell researchers took these numbers and concluded that 85% of what we worry about never happens. So in other words, we spend most of our day worried about stuff that doesn't need to be worried about. Here's what you can do to try and turn things around. Whenever you can, consciously insert good thoughts into your day. Notice what a beautiful day it is, even when it's cloudy. Don't post or repost anything negative on social media. Complaining accomplishes little except to spread that negativity. Keep a gratitude journal on your phone. Every time something good happens or you notice something positive, put it down. It may be some work at first, but if you keep at it, it becomes habit. I'm not saying you have to ignore the bad, just put it into perspective and only worry about the things that need to be worried about. Please remember, my podcast, The Happy Molecule, is available on all of your favorite podcast sites or at thehappymolecule.com. And join us Sundays for Facebook Live, The Happy Molecule Extra at 7 p.m. Eastern. Take care of yourself and take care of each other. This show is about your mental health. While it's supported by the pillars of positivity and hope, if you find yourself in crisis, please reach out for help. In many communities in both the United States and Canada, you can dial 211 to be connected to mental health and crisis services in your region. While it may seem like it at times, you are not alone. My friends, if this show does not go off the rails, it's all because of the magic of Parker. Because I was working right down to the wire, and I left him only a couple minutes to get ready. So anything that goes right today is from Parker. Anything that goes wrong will be on me. How is everybody? I'm so glad you are here tonight. I'm so glad we could spend this time together. We like to start off with finding out who's new and welcoming them. It's welcome into a community, welcome them to a family. So if you are new here and this is your first show, please make your presence known on the comments section and then watch what happens as people welcome you to the community. I saw Barbara there saying that she's glad she could make it. Barbara, I'm glad you could make it as well. Meredith, sending positive vibes. I love it. I love it. Yes, Heather, thank goodness for Parker. Put Heather's comment on there. It's just the one with the ribbon. There we go. Thank goodness for Parker. Thank you for being here tonight, Parker, says Callie. See, everybody appreciate that. Can you put Rosemary's on there, Parker? Right down there, yeah. Look at that. Minus 23 last night in North Bay. That's my hometown. Going back there. Boy, I will tell you. First time, Danielle. And wow, you spell it Danielle. That's a nice way of spelling it. I like that. Who else is here and new see, already people are welcoming Danielle. I'm new. Hello, Mary, and very good to have you on board. This is a chance for on Sunday evenings for us to decompress before we have the week ahead, to sort of commiserate with each other, but be positive. There's lots of bad news out there, and later on in this program, we're going to start a new segment tonight. It's called Looking Up, and it's all about good news. And we'll talk a little bit more about the need for that and kind of why we don't hear a lot about good news. So that's coming up in just a few minutes. First thing we do is, for all of you new folks, I will explain the box breathing. We do a box breathing exercise at the beginning of every show because what it does is it helps us to reset. It helps us to get into a frame of mind where we are ready just to be positive. And this actually works. This actually has a physical effect on your parasympathetic nervous system and actually will adjust your heart rate, your pulse rate, bring down anxiety and stress. So you can use this anytime. Especially when you are having anxiety, an anxiety attack. It's actually been proven in some cases to be as effective as medicine. So this is really essential. And when we do it, what we do is we breathe in through our nose. And you remember, everyone, we breathe in fresh, clean air through our nose for 4 seconds. Then we hold it for 4 seconds. And the holding is important. The holding is actually what allows the reset to happen. Then we breathe out through our mouth. And as we're breathing out through our mouth, we're letting all the stress and anxiety that we can, that anything we can pick up from inside our body, we want to breathe it out through our mouth. Then we want to hold again. Now, the reason the hold is important is that if we're just breathing in and out, we could give our parasympathetic nervous system and I see Cameron says he's found doing a lot more box breathing this week. That is great, and I hope it works. So we are, if we're just breathing in and out without holding, we're saying to our heart and our pulse rate and our brain, we're still panting. We're still in kind of an anxious mode. But when we do the hold, we're sending a message to our brain that, hey, we're resetting here. There's no saber-toothed tiger out there that is going to get us. This is better explained from my friend Bryce Wild. He is a holistic expert on everything. He's going to be the guest on my podcast later on this week on Tuesday. So he does a beautiful job, and we'll talk more about the podcast coming up in a few minutes. So let us now, without further ado, get on to our box breathing. And of course, as always, we welcome Spunky the Stress Ball. Come on in, Spunky.
Hey.
How are ya? You ready to help?
Uh-huh.
Okay, everybody, we start breathing in through our nose. Follow Spunky. And hold it. And you're going to be breathing up through your mouth. Now, just let that stress out, the anxiety. Whew. There you go. You're going to hold it. Now you're breathing in through your nose, that nice, clean, fresh air. Fill your lungs and hold it. Now don't strain, don't stress. If it becomes a strain and stress, then take it easy. You don't have to keep up. Remember, holding it is important. Breathing in through your nose. Sense that anxiety inside your body and your stomach and let it go out through your mouth. Hello, Doug, and welcome. You're breathing in through your nose. Patricia, it's okay, you're late. Right. Out through your mouth.
Got it.
That's it? All right, thanks, Spunky. Take care, my friend.
Woohoo!
It's Spunky the Stress Ball. Need a theme song. And I should not be singing it. I hope that helps. I hope that makes a difference. And I love the fact Cameron said that he is, and hello, Christy, welcome to you as well. I love Cameron saying that he's been using it this week. I hope everyone has been using it this week. Use it all the time. Use it several times a day. It's going to make a big difference. And it's a great way for us to get going and started on our show. How is everybody this week? How are you doing? How was your week? On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being stressed to the max, and 1 being very calm, how was your week? Put that in the reply column. So for me, my week started out as a 1. What did I say was the most stress, Parker? I've already... 10. Sorry. No, my week started out literally... Okay, I'm gonna be at a 9. I'm gonna reserve 10 for those times when it's really bad. It did start out literally as a 9. I was so anxious. I had a great meditation on Tuesday and Wednesday, and I came to such a great place that I am ending the week on a 1. And it feels so good. And I owe it mainly to positivity, not sweating the small stuff. And it inspired me to write my latest blog. If you take a look at the blog, which is thehappymolecule.com/blog, I talk about a way to get rid... hold on. Ashley, I was a 1 all week, hit 19 months sober. All right, everybody, can you give the applause emoji, please? Who was that again, Parker? I'm sorry. Ashley. I want the applause emoji for Ashley. That's fantastic. You know what, Ashley? You only go forward. right? You only go forward from here. And that's what my blog was talking about, was the fact, and this blew my mind. I was listening to some Alan Watts lectures earlier on this week. If you have not listened to Alan Watts, he's all over YouTube. You can get him all over the web, of course. Man, he puts things into perspective. And it really, in one of his lectures, he talks about the past, present, and future, and how only the present is real and the future and the past are both literally illusions. And he's right. It blew my mind. So the past has already happened. There's nothing we can do about it. Plus, there's nothing to show from it. It's a memory. We can look at the pictures. We can look at videos. We can plug into our memories. But it's gone. It's done. It's no longer real. Then we have the future. Hasn't happened yet. And when we get to the future, it's the present. I know it sounds really weird, and it may sound new age and all that, but you know what? It really made a difference to me. So it really put an importance in the presence, the here, the now. I'm not going to worry about yesterday. I'm not going to worry about tomorrow. I'm going to think about being here and now. And that was kind of my aha moment this week, which took me from a solid 9, down to a 1. And it really made a difference. I hope you read the blog, take a look at it, and celebrate your victories. Enjoy and celebrate your victories, such as Ashley just did. Let me see. Leslie, I was 10. My mom passed away, and it's life-changing. The breathing is helping. Yeah. Any life-changing events, anything where you're panicking, it's not going to solve it, okay? I'm not here to... it's not going to solve it, all right? You're still going to miss your mom. Your mom is still going to have passed away. However, what it's going to do is it's going to help you to take it in stride. It's going to help you to calm down and take it in stride. If you're constantly, I know our breath is involuntary. It just happens, right? There's nothing we can do, but we can help to regulate it whenever we think about it. So it may not work the first time, the box breathing. It may not work the second time. But you know what? Keep at it. Makes a difference. Brings you to the here and now. One of the problems we have in our stress and our anxiety these days is the news, right? Not only does it always seem news is bad, and I'm going to talk about that in a moment. Not only does it always seem news is bad, but it's everywhere. It comes into our social media. We get bulletins. It's 24/7. And it's always bad for a reason. Because news is something unusual that's happening. I shouldn't say it's always bad for a reason. I'm going to say this is one thing why we hear so much bad news as opposed to good news. And this may be a good thing. News infers that. News infers that it is new and unusual. So therefore, if it's bad news, it's unusual. If it's good news, well, we're hoping that's more usual. So that's one good reason why we hear more bad news. But also, to make money, more people are going to watch and listen and read bad news. They're just going to. So you're looking at ratings, you're looking at money. Good news does not sell. So if you had your choice between a bad news item and an equally good news item, 9 times out of 10, a media organization is going to pick the bad news item because that's what sells. I don't blame them. They have to make money. They're there to make money. And yes, you can say, well, they could lead the way. They could be the ones. Well, no, because people won't watch them. Most media is in trouble these days as it is. So therefore, they just fall by the wayside. So in a way, it's our fault. We want the bad news. Out of these 6,000 to 10,000 thoughts that we have every day, researchers have found that 85% of our thoughts are bad, are negative. 85%. And most of those never, ever transpire, never happen. We're always assuming the worst. We're always expecting the worst. And it's almost like we enjoy the worst. That's why you need to take your positivity and really help it take over. It's like I'm saying with your breathing. You're trying to take over your heartbeat and your pulse. So you need to take over your thoughts. Putting positive thoughts in will make a huge difference to your mental health and to your physical health. Try it. So try and not to have the bad thoughts. Try your hardest. Whenever there's a bad thought come up, say, try find something good about it. Or just discount it. In your social media, if it's constantly bad, stop following that person. And stop posting and reposting negative articles. I'm not saying ignore it. No way, long way from it. We need to know the bad news too. We need to know the truth. We need to know what's going on, just to better prepare us that we can handle it. I always wonder why we have so many car crashes and fires on news. And I was just as bad when I was in the news. It's because, well, people seem to want it. But what is it going to do to your life to know that somebody died in a car crash? Unless that. Let me tell you why it's important, but it's important to put into perspective. We need to know what happened with a car crash, because what would happen if it was someone we knew? What would happen if it's someone who wasn't wearing a seatbelt or it had something to do with drinking and driving? We need to know that. But if it's just a story about a car crash and there's nothing to it, then it's not important to you. And again, unless it's something or someone that you know or it happened right on your street. We need to know there is positivity out there. We need to know there are good things happening. Even in this time of pandemic, even in this time, we need to be aware that there's still good out there. There is a lot more good out there right now than there is bad. Exponentially more good than there is bad out there. But yet, we go through the day with most of our thoughts being negative. So it's up to you to try and turn them around. So I'm going to start a segment all week, tonight, that is about good news called Looking Up. And I'm going to do it every week. So throughout the week, whenever you have something good happen to you, can you let me know about it? And I might use it on the show. I want you to be aware of what good happens to you this week. So, without further ado, let's get to this first edition of Looking Up. Right. So, once again, this is our good news. Parker, if you can just bring up the document there for me. I'm at that. There we go. Okay, just 1 second. See, this was my fault for pushing the show right to the very, literally to 6:59. I was writing things. So Parker's just preparing this document for me here. Actually, just lose the comments for a second if we could. Maybe that'll help. Just 1 second, folks. All right. Okay, I think I can see a lot of it there. Okay. Here is our first story, and you see the headline there at the bottom. Actually, can you just get rid of the comments for a second, Parker, just until we get this straight? All right, my printer is almost out of ink, or else I would have printed this off. For the first time since the second wave took off, Canada is seeing a sustained drop in the number of people testing positive for the coronavirus every day. A signal that restrictions in the country's two largest provinces are at last making a difference. This is good news, but it's also something that you do have to get perspective and context on. We may go back up again. There's still cases. We're still seeing deaths. We're still seeing the variant causing problems. But we hear about that all day and every day. We need to hear this and celebrate it. These little oasis in the desert of bad news. We need to celebrate it, and we need to recognize it that, yes, there's bad news, and we're going to get more bad news, but there's nothing wrong with celebrating what we've done. We're all sacrificing. We're wearing these masks. We're staying in. We're missing our friends and our family. We're sacrificing something. We need to know that sacrifice is worthwhile, and that sacrifice has saved thousands, hundreds of thousands of lives. I don't care what anyone says. And if you want to argue with me, don't. I'll block you because there's way too much proof to say otherwise. So don't get taken in by someone who says that this is all wrong. Yeah, it's not. You know what? I wish it could have been done better. There's a million things we probably could do differently, and maybe we will the next pandemic. God, hope there isn't one. Knock wood. But we need to know that what we have done is right. and is good. And here's our positive sign that we are doing something right. Let's move on to the next story. And this next story has to do with the economy. And this was some positive news as well. Where did I read? I said this in Bloomberg, or where did I see it? I think in the Toronto Star. Many economists predicting that Canada's economy may bounce right back to pre-pandemic levels by year's end. We're very concerned that our economy was going to be so hurt that what jobs are still there may not be there. Pedro Antunes, chief economist with Conference Board of Canada, says Canadians are swimming in savings that they are itching to spend 4 times larger than exists at normal times. We haven't been spending on anything. So we've got all these savings. We haven't gone on vacation. Christmas was really downturned this year. A lot of credit, he says, goes to support programs from government that he describes as more than generous. We so rarely thank the government, and we so rarely say they did anything right. And again, they may have done things differently, but the stimulus and the checks that we've been getting, I wish it could be more as well. But they've been more than generous, according to economists, and that's one thing that's helped keep our head above water. So the good news is that in the economy, we're not going to go into depression. At least, no one knows, right? But it is good news, and it means that it's sort of that indication, hey, when we start spending again, not if we start spending again, but when we start spending again. And I love that. I'm not swimming in savings, but I'm reducing my debt and hope to continue this in 2021. Cameron, that's great. Keep in mind, we have one of the highest debt loads in the world individually. I'm not talking about government. While the economy does need your spending, maybe you're learning something with this. I would highly advise you to think before going out there and spending like a drunken sailor. If you've managed to cut down on debt, that's great. And I know this doesn't apply to everybody. I know there are people who are eating into their savings. I've eaten into my savings significantly. I know. It's tough. It's tough. It could be a lot worse. So that's some good news. Next story. And one of the other things we were worried about, of course, was the movie industry. We love our movies. But theaters were already hurting before the pandemic. But in parts of Asia where a lot of restrictions have already been lifted, because they are doing better. They are flattening the curve there. They're on the other side. They were ahead of us, of course. Movie box office receipts for the first 10 days of January surged more than 50% over the same period last year. Japan reporting record weekend attendance. Similar stories from India and Taiwan. So that's great. Theaters will still be there, we hope. Now, some may have had to close. Theaters were already on, sort of a thin economic string before we even went into this. This may be culling some of that. I hate to see some of the older theaters close and some of the towns lose their theaters, smaller towns. We've seen streaming take on a big time, but it still shows that we have a place to go, and we're going to be able to go out, and we'll be able to get back into the theaters, and people are still going to go see the movies. The next good news story comes from one of our viewers. Here we go. This is from Shannon. The creek is finally frozen. We made this Zamboni and can skate right now. I love this. Watch this as it goes by. There's a water cooler that's spewing out hot water, and then it's sort of being smoothed out behind. That is frickin' brilliant. Shannon, I love that. All right, a few more good news articles from you. Good news, I'm very accident prone and nothing happened this week. No false slips, banging my head. Okay, Lee, yeah, that's great. That's always good. You know what it means? You're more present. This is good. I posted a random Throwback Thursday, and Cher replied to me that I looked like her. Look at that. You look like me. Let's see. There's the one you posted. There's Cher, about the same age. Yeah. Yeah, Parker's saying, which one's which? Good point. That is, and you know what? Somebody like Cher replying to one of your posts? Wow. That's amazing. And that is this edition of Looking Up. Remember, throughout this week, I want you to look for, that's your homework, in fact. I want you to look for good news. I want you to look for positive things happening. It can be major, big things. And if you want to throw me some stories that you find in the news, yes, please, just the positive stories. Or it happens in your own life. That news is just as important to you. And people can live vicariously through you as well. We sometimes have to look for it. Not because it isn't there, but because we are so used to looking for bad news that we forget about the good news. We go out and we say, oh, it's cloudy out today, instead of listening for the birds singing. We'll, have something happen to us that we feel is just bad. However, there's so many more good things that are happening to us at the same time. There's far more that goes right in your day than goes wrong. It's just a matter of fact. So your assignment this week, look for good news. Look for it in the news, online, look for it in your life, and pass it on to me, please. Through Twitter, through Facebook. I have to apologize when I'm doing my getting comments from you. For some reason, my Facebook Messenger is just terrible. I'm not very good at it. It's nothing to do with Messenger. It's just me. I've got to get better on Facebook. I spent so many years on Twitter, and Facebook was always a secondary thought. So if I'm not answering you or getting to your stuff on Facebook, I apologize. I'm going to get better at that. I mentioned the podcast coming out on Tuesday. The latest podcast this week. This will be episode 12. That's 3 months of podcasts. Thank you very much. I'm still here. My friend Bryce Wild is going to be here, and he is going to be talking about some life hacks, things that you can do to improve your mood, and it's just going to be like rapid fire. So it's not just one thing. He has this thing, it's called taking a contrast shower. It's something you can do. And it entails you having hot water on your face and chest, then cold water on your face and chest, and alternating about 2 or 3 times. There's something he called, and I'm trying to remember, it was the vagus nerve or something. You'll find out on Tuesday. But it actually biologically does something to help improve your mood. He is also going to tell us about what it means to be breathing and why we hold our breath. He's going to be talking about supplements as well. Why are we hearing so much about theanine and its good work or its positive effects on mental health, on our mood? He's going to talk about that. He's going to talk about what you should be looking for in the produce aisle. He's going to talk about the 3 S's that will improve your mood and your health when you're eating. The 3 S's. So that's coming up this Tuesday on The Happy Molecule. Find all the details at thehappymolecule.com. And while you're there, check out the blog, the latest blog. I'm proud of it. I'm proud of my latest blog about... It's about not crying over spilled milk. So take a look at that. That's at thehappymolecule.com. While you're there, subscribe. Please, just add your name to the email list. I promise I'm not going to spam you. And I'm told that the server I use does not collect that information. I've got to trust that that's true. So subscribe. You're going to be told when a new episode comes online, the podcast. You're going to be told about new blogs coming online, plus just a generalized newsletter that I send out every once in a while. It's all aimed at positivity. It's all aimed at trying to look at the bright side of life rather than the negative side and the dark side and the lonely side. And for those of you who are alone, no, you're not. We're all here with you. We are all here with you. We are all going through this together, virtually at least. If you would like to make a buddy with someone, if you're not, you're not communicating with people all week long, there's hundreds of people who are on right now who, believe me, are more than willing to be your buddy. to be your isolation buddy. And that just means that you can call each other, you can email each other, you can text each other, you can social media message each other. So if you want to just say, hey, anybody want to be my buddy? You just put that in the comments. You're going to get a dozen people right away saying, yeah, me, and they're going to pass on their email address to you. Right there. Let me see. Debbie Price Roy there. First time on here and enjoyed what I heard. Thanks, Kevin, for your uplifting spirit. We need to, you know what? So now you need to take that and pay it forward, Debbie. You need to take that uplifting spirit and you need now to pass that on. You know that a negative mood is very contagious. Well, a good mood is contagious as well. And I want you to go spread that. What else? Oh, here's Denise. See, Denise saying right there, I would like to have a buddy. So anybody there who wants to sort of make friends with Denise, make arrangements on how you can communicate with each other. You can communicate every day, once a week, every hour. It doesn't matter. Just so we all know we're not alone, that we all know there's somebody else out there who's wondering how we're feeling. It's really, really important. So anybody want to buddy up with Denise, please? I invite you to do that right now. There we go. All right, Cameron, coming up there. Thank you very much. These are all, by the way, links to these people. Even after this Facebook Live show goes off the air, they're still available in the comments section. If you go to my Facebook page and just click on this video, which is recorded and played back forever, these comments and the contacts will be there. So if anybody else needs a buddy, contact any one of these people. You know, there's some like Charity, Lorianne, Cameron, Ruth. These are regulars. I know them. They've been here almost since day one. They're okay. And believe me, they'll talk your ear off, but that's good. That's okay. Thank you so much to everyone for joining me here this evening. Remember your homework assignment. You're looking for good news. You're spreading that good feeling. And you're going to have a good week. And when you're having a bad week, you're going to stop. You're going to go somewhere, and you can do it anywhere. And you're going to breathe. And if you can't do the box breathing, then just try and remember just to listen to your breath and hold it for a couple of seconds and let it out. Thank you very much. Here, Cameron. So Cameron has the best description of what they're doing up there. There you go. We are the fiber of the channel, keeping Kevin regular. That is such a great comment. I love that. Aaron, first time you've listened in. Thanks a lot for joining us here, Aaron, as well. Shall we finish off with, you know what? Let's finish off our Sunday night with a bit of more box breathing. Let's bring on Spunky again, shall we? So let's bring Spunky back on here, and everybody get ready. Don't forget, you're going to breathe in through your nose. Spunky, where are you? There you are. Hey. Okay, we're going to do it again. Okay, here we go. Everybody in through your nose. Nice and fresh. Hold it. Just hold it. And you're letting it out through your mouth, and as you're doing that, you're letting any anxiety that's still in your stomach. That's where I feel it. Then you're going to hold it. So when you breathe out, you're letting that anxiety out. You're breathing in through your nose. Hold it. And then out through your mouth. And you're holding it. Sometimes it helps if you say this to yourself in your mind. So I'm going to be quiet here for the last few. That's it. All right. Thank you very much, Spunky. You have yourself a great week. I sometimes worry about Spunky when he blows up at the end, but he always seems to come back. So I think we're okay. All right. Thank you so much for joining me here this evening. I hope you have a great week. Don't forget the new podcast coming out Tuesday morning. Go to my website, thehappymolecule.com. Read the latest blogs, and also subscribe. and I will stay in touch with you. If you want to, you can also send me a message directly through there. It goes straight to my phone. As soon as you hit send on that message, it pops up here. And I try and answer as many as I can when I can. So it may not be right away, but I do try. I do try. Take care of yourself and take care of each other.